Well, hello. It's nice to see you. Today's day 3 of my daily diary, and I hope you've been enjoying it. I've really appreciated some of the comments and feedback and emails and phone calls that I have gotten. It is really amazing and completely heartfelt. I think that when I began 1111 magazine, I was given that mission, and I really didn't know if it was going to reach out in the world or what it was going to do. I just knew that it was something I needed to do to heal. I was in tremendous emotional pain, and I wanted something just to help me grow, to help me understand this world a little bit better, this universe, to help me really try to figure out how I had created this reality of mine and what power and sense of creative capacity I had to change and mold that reality into something I truly desired. And my heart dream was so much to reach out to other people and connect with them. And so many of you have shared such beautiful stories of your own pain and your own triumph and your own ability to have emotion or not have emotion and be touched by something that I said. And I just have to say thank you for that, because you've touched me by letting me know that. You've touched me in a way that I don't even know that I can put into words. I want to talk today about how amazing it was to have something given to me and have absolutely no clue as to how to move forward. When that magazine was downloaded into my head, I didn't know how really to work on a computer. I did some emailing. I knew how to create a Word document. Other than that, I really didn't have any idea of what it took to put a magazine together, to get it out there. I didn't have any idea of what it took to do a radio show. That was neither one were my fields. I had been in the retail industry in a family business for 30 years. I had been working since the time I was 4 years old. I would go to work with my mom, and every single day I was there. I would dust shelves, or I would straighten hangers, or I would do all kinds of things. But I basically have been a working woman since I was 4, and I was not aware of how to do any of these types of things. But yet I realized I just had to. I had to. They were my lifeline. They were what I needed to hang on to being alive. Because there were many moments where I really wished I were no longer here. And I don't really know if I would have ever done anything. I happened to have a child, and so for that reason, of course, I never would do anything. But there were so many moments where I just was tired. I was tired and beaten down, and I was lifeless, and I had no emotions left. I didn't feel. I didn't cry. Crying was not something that we did in our home. My mother was never allowed to cry as a child, and we pass on these things that we learn, as children. And so subsequently in our household, crying was not something that was allowed. And so I never even learned how to do that. So, you grow up not feeling fully, and then you turn into this person that does not know how to feel. And I was very numb when I began that magazine, extremely numb. I didn't even know how to feel. I would watch movies to try to feel something. And I couldn't no matter what I did. And I thought, what is wrong with me? Why can't I feel emotion? Why can't I cry? Why can't I laugh? And that's just it. If you don't cry, you can't really get to the heights of laughter either, because you've blocked that. And I really wanted to tap into that experience. And the universe was showing me through the numbers, through having a graphic designer appear in front of me, that it really was trying to support me. It really did have my back. But it didn't mean that I wasn't afraid in leaping into something that I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And so what I did at that time is I chose to take a trip. So this magazine began in July of 2007 when I was starting to compile it. And every time I looked at it, it seemed like this huge mountain of how am I possibly ever going to accomplish this? How am I going to create a website? How am I going to get it out there? How am I going to, come up with the interviews? How am I going to do all of this stuff? Who's going to let me in the door to even do these interviews? I was told to interview these people that were the leading change agents. How was I going to get in the door of them? They weren't going to listen to me. I was nobody. I was somebody that had never done a magazine before, and I was just supposed to knock on their door and say, "Here I am, Simran Singh. I want to interview you for my new magazine." I just didn't see how that was going to even happen. And so I decided, that this was a huge mountain. And I sat back one day and I thought, gosh, how do you climb a mountain that is in front of you? And it dawned on me that my dream had always been to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And so in that instant, I got online and I decided that I was going to book a ticket to Africa for the date that this magazine was supposed to be at the printer and be printing the first issue. And I booked my flight. I booked everything to be able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in January of 2008. And I printed a picture of the mountain and I put it over my desk. And every single time I started to get afraid, or I started to think, I can't handle this. I can't do this. It is too much of a mountain. I would look at that picture and I would go, this is not a mountain. That is a mountain. And I'm climbing that mountain in January. And that's what got me to take each and every step along the way. And I always seem to have been that kind of person. It seems like when something really big is going on in my life, I try to find something even bigger to focus on so that this doesn't seem quite so big, in case that helps you at all with anything that you're facing in your life. And so, lo and behold, the magazine got to the printer, and I left, and I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and it was the most amazing journey I could have ever dreamed of having. Walking that whole mountain with the guide, as they kept saying Polay Polay, which means slowly, slowly. I learned so many things about myself and so many things about life and how we are meant to walk each step very slowly and breathe it in and allow ourselves every kind of landscape, because I went through 5 different landscapes on that journey. I mean, there was desert and there was rainforest and there was mountain and there was snow and there were all kinds of things that I would traverse through as I climbed up and climbed down, and saw so many people, so many that were climbing for the first time, from ages 8 years old to like 80 years old. I would bump into these people and I would see them and I would think, wow, we're really all the same, all of us. We're all just trying to one-up ourselves. It's not about competition for anyone else. It's not about even comparing ourselves anymore to anyone else. We're just really trying to survive and get through life and trying to figure out where is our balance point of thriving? Where is our place of leaping and flying? And that was a really valuable trip because it let me know that I could get through this mountain called 1111 Magazine and getting it printed and off the ground, and I could get through a physical mountain as well. And I had wanted to train. I didn't even get to train the way I wanted to, and that in itself was a lesson. So I realized that there are no mistakes. We think that we need to do something, and we have intentions to sometimes do it in a certain way, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. And yet there are still lessons and gifts and jewels that we're able to reap out of that. And lo and behold, the universe did help me because I got the website set up. I didn't know who I was going to reach out to or who was going to even going to support this magazine or want to read it. Why would anyone want to read this from a virtual unknown? And all of a sudden, within 3 months, Barnes & Noble picked it up and had it across the country. And I was going through so much emotional pain that I was angry. I put a second mortgage on my house, and I printed this thing, and I funded it entirely myself, and I spent a ton of money. I spent a lot of money, a ridiculous amount of money, but I wouldn't change a thing. I grew so much from this experience, and I know that it touched who it needed to touch. And in the end, anything that we create, I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we have to create it for ourselves. We can't create it for the purposes of healing someone else or touching someone else or making a difference in the world or anything like that. There's only one world to make a difference in, and it's one's own. And there's only one person to heal, and it's ourselves. And there's only one person to prove anything to, and it's us. And when we do that, when we commit so solidly to what our heart is asking and we're doing it for no one but ourselves, it can't help but reach out and touch other people.